Did you know that during World War II, the continental United States was attacked from the air thousands of times? No, I'm not talking about some alternate history novel. I'm talking about one of the strangest, most desperate, and least known chapters of the war. Japan's Great Fire Balloon Offensive. Picture this. It's late 1944. Japan's military situation is growing more desperate by the day. Their cities are being relentlessly bombed by American B-29s flying from bases in the Mariana Islands. The Japanese High Command is desperate for a way to strike back, to bring the war home to the American people and prove that Japan is not defeated. But how? Their navy is crippled, and they have no long-range bombers capable of reaching the U.S. mainland and returning. The answer they came up with was ingenious, low-tech, and frankly, a bit bizarre. They decided to weaponize the weather. Japanese meteorologists had been studying the jet stream for years. They discovered a powerful, high-altitude river of air that flowed eastward across the Pacific Ocean, directly from Japan to North America. In the winter months, this current was especially strong, capable of carrying an object across the vast ocean in just 3 to 4 days. The plan was born: to create thousands of unmanned balloons, load them with incendiary and anti-personnel bombs, and let the jet stream carry them to America's forests and cities. They called them full-go weapons, or windship weapons. The balloons themselves were a marvel of wartime engineering and resourcefulness. Since materials like rubber and silk were scarce, they were constructed from countless small squares of washi paper, made from mulberry bush. This paper was surprisingly strong and lightweight. Schoolgirls were enlisted to glue these panels together using a simple konjac potato paste. Can you imagine? Thousands of teenagers sitting in classrooms, gymnasiums, and even sumo halls, painstakingly assembling these giant spheres of paper, each one about 33 feet in diameter. When inflated with hydrogen, they could carry a payload of about 1,000 pounds and were designed to rise to an altitude of over 30,000 feet, right into the heart of the jet stream. But here's the cleverest part. How do you keep a balloon at a constant altitude for a journey of over 5,000 miles? The engineers developed an ingenious system of sandbags and barometric pressure release valves. As the sun heated the hydrogen during the day, the balloon would rise. Once it reached a certain altitude, a valve would release some gas, causing it to descend. As it cooled and descended at night, an altimeter would trigger the release of a pair of sandbags, causing it to rise again. This up and down cycle allowed the balloons to ride the jet stream for days, slowly dropping their sandbags and finally their bombs over North America. The final ballast drop was designed to release the incendiary and high-explosive bombs. The balloon was even equipped with a self-destruct mechanism to destroy the evidence. Between November 1944 and April 1945, Japan launched over 9,300 of these fire balloons. Their goal was twofold. First, they hoped the incendiary bombs would ignite massive forest fires across the Pacific Northwest, creating chaos, diverting American resources, and terrorizing the population. Second, they hoped the anti-personnel bombs would cause casualties and spread fear. The psychological impact was just as important as the physical damage. Imagine the terror of a bomb randomly falling from a clear sky. So, did it work? Well, not exactly as planned. American authorities were initially baffled. Debris from these strange paper balloons started showing up all across the western United States, from Alaska down to Mexico and as far east as Michigan. They found strange sandbags, weird mechanisms, and unexploded bombs. At first, no one knew what they were. The government, fearing widespread panic and wanting to deny Japan any intelligence about whether their bizarre weapons were working, imposed a strict media blackout. The Office of Censorship sent memos to all newspapers and radio stations, asking them to voluntarily refrain from reporting on any balloon incidents. And for the most part, the press complied. the American public was kept completely in the dark. This censorship was incredibly effective. The Japanese, receiving no news reports of burning cities or widespread panic, assumed their ambitious campaign was a complete failure. They had no idea that hundreds, possibly over 1,000, of their balloons had actually made it across the ocean. While the incendiary bombs largely fizzled out due to the wet, cold winter conditions in the Pacific Northwest, they did cause some minor incidents, including a brief power outage at the Hanford site in Washington, the facility producing plutonium for the Manhattan Project. Can you imagine the potential catastrophe if a bomb had hit a critical part of that facility? But the story does have a tragic side. The media blackout was lifted after a terrible incident on May 5, 1945. A minister, Archie Mitchell, and his pregnant wife, Elsie, took 5 children from their Sunday school class on a picnic in the woods near Bly, Oregon. While Archie was parking the car, the others discovered a strange object on the ground, one of the Japanese balloons. As they gathered around it, the 33-pound anti-personnel bomb it carried exploded. Elsie Mitchell and all 5 children were killed instantly. They were the only known fatalities from enemy action on the continental United States during the entire war. After this tragedy, the government decided the public needed to be warned about the potential danger, and the story was finally released. By the time the news broke, the Japanese had already given up on the program, convinced it was a failure, and needing the resources for the final defense of their home islands. In the end, the Great Fire Balloon Attack was more of a strange footnote than a decisive chapter in the war. It was a testament to ingenuity born of desperation, a secret war fought with paper and wind. It's a reminder that even in a conflict defined by massive armies and industrial might, there are always these stranger-than-fiction stories hidden just beneath the surface. The next time you look up at a clear blue sky, just remember the silent, secret invasion that drifted across the Pacific all those years ago. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this piece of hidden history as fascinating as I do, please hit that like button and subscribe for more stories you might not have learned in school. We'll see you in the next video.